Hop in, come on in and join me. I am live and I am really hoping that my mic is working. Um, so I use my phone to hook my mic up to. Um, and I'm actually having issues with the connection from it's my phone connection, so we are wondering what is happening. What is happening? So I love this mic. This mic is awesome. Oh my gosh, this was given to me by my friend. He donated it to Heart of the City San Diego, my nonprofit. Um, which he helps out a lot with, you know, and so I really am grateful to all of the donations and stuff that come in. But like a lot of the people that have donated and things like that, they don't like their names mentioned, so I don't usually say anybody's names. That's why you never hear me say the names of the people unless they're like okay with it, right? So a lot of times they don't want you to say, who did this or who did that, did what. So I try to keep it like that. So yeah, but I'm always grateful. I'm always very, very, excited and happy about that. Um, and then I have this awesome camera that is just like, you know, it. I like have so much fun with it. Like, like trying to. The biggest thing is trying to figure out how to do my lives using that camera. It's a bit more technical than I am capable of doing, I think. I learned how to, take photographs with the camera. It's a Canon. Um, but like, to do the live stream with it, that's a bit more, it's kind of complicated for me. I don't know how to do that very much. Um, but I am trying. I did manage to kind of do it, and I was like, is this kind of like how it goes? But then I didn't know how the audios were coming in and all that, so I was like, oh my gosh. So, so today I'm just doing a shout. I'm just, talking about nothing. I'm talking about my fancy camera that was donated to me by a friend. Um, and then I, um, I do like, I come in and give everyone shout outs. I usually do a shout out for people that are, nice to me. And if you're nice to me, then I say hi. But if you're an angry troll, then I won't give a shout out to angry trolls. Angry trolls are not my friends. So, so I don't pay any attention. Um, so there's a lot of different people that come in and are viewing in and things like that. Um, Hi Larry, I see you there. Thanks for joining. Um, so yeah, lots of different people join in on the live stream. I stream in with a proper lesson every Sunday at 8 p.m. and I teach on mental health awareness. I teach on mental health issues, um, and what I do for work is I'm a chaplain, so I work as a chaplain, and then I go on to work sites that are, um, different companies that, not because they have mental health issues, that's not why I'm there, but it's to promote, wellness in the workplace. It's to kind of be um, someone who is present in the workplace, and it's becoming more and more a thing, especially that we went through the pandemic. I mean, my company has been around for a long, long time already, but and they're pretty good and well known, um, and so we usually go into the workplaces, and we go into the team meetings. Um, Sometimes people want to ask questions in the team meetings and things. Just about, well, we get asked all kinds of different questions. Do we do weddings? Do we officiate weddings? And do we do funerals? And we're like, yes, we do officiate weddings. We do funerals. We do, can pray for you. We can sit down and talk with you, and listen to cares and concerns, and also offer resources. To A lot of it is listening and kind of seeing what particular resources are available that will help, basically. Um, and then also kind of, it isn't a whole lot of advice giving. I usually try to stay away from advice giving unless I'm like on this platform and I'm talking about things that I for sure um, know benefit everyone, like health and fitness and food and what to eat and things like that. Hi, Ola. Hi, Ricardo. I see you there. Hi, Leon. Hi, Colors 17. Hi, I see you. Thank you. Oh, someone's saying something very nice. Gee, thank you. Free dead tree. Free dead tree. Okay. Thank you. And I always hope that not just that I'm a nice person, but that the community that chats in the chat also catches the trolls as well. I have mediators behind the scene and stuff. What do you call them? People catching the trolls. Because you know there are ladies that pop in here and they don't want to see all this gross stuff that people say on there. And we want it to be a healthy community when we come together, and so um, that it is encouraging one another. So it isn't just me encouraging you all, but it is also people in the chat encouraging each other. So that's important too. Me and this pin. So let me stop with that. What's happening in your world today? What is happening? Are you watching the news? Are you listening to all the things that are happening? Do you have concerns about the world? And I'm not talking politics. I don't try to stay away from politics on my YouTube. I'm not the expert or anything. But I do talk politics here and there, but um, I am not that I'm not that all American girl that is doing all the politic stuff on their social media. That's not me. I'm a world minded person, so I love all faiths. I love all people. I love all the nationalities of the world. I've traveled all over, and I've lived in other countries. So I just, I'm American, but I always go, am I really? Am I really American? I am. I am. I'm just kidding. But and when I was with my daughter, who lives in. My kids grew up in England, so when we get together, we're all like, are we really American? We really do say stuff like that, Are we really American? Um, we have not lost our identity. Somebody's from, where are you from? Oh, okay, Sandy. What, hello, hello. I thought you were saying you were from San Diego. Okay, where are you from? Um, Nice to meet you too, Village. Giving people shout outs. Oh, so this T-shirt This t-shirt was created by a friend of mine on social media. It says hated for his name's sake, right? And it says John 3:6. Is it John? No, John 15:19. And so he is the creator of this t-shirt. So I have to, give them a shout out because I'm wearing their t-shirt that they created, that they gave me. So I always give them a shout out when I'm wearing it. And I do wear it. I keep them all nice and neat. So I wash them by hand and then I hang them up and I keep them on me because they are, you know, designed, made by them, so they're the designer of these t-shirts. So it is hated for his name's sake is the brand. And you can find them on, I think, Instagram and stuff like that. But and it is got like scriptures on it and stuff like that. Let's see, what are people saying down here? Hi, matcha. Oh, somebody's speaking another language. Oh, okay, I see. Someone's speaking another language. What language is that? Where are you from? All right, so I am just coming on. I want to remind you guys to tune in on Sundays. Sundays is our actual lesson, and it's every Sunday at 8 p.m. And we got so many people streaming in. And would you, like, I don't even ask you guys to subscribe, but guess what? Every single time that I go live, I am getting like 20 subscribers every time that I go live. So thank you so much for all of the subscribing. I'm hoping that I bring, a good word and content and, good inspiration for good living to the world. That's just, that's my hope and what I try to do every time. And just bringing some of the wisdom that I've learned along the way from, we call it the School of Hard Knocks, which means all of the mistakes that I've made along the way. Because, I'm not bringing, I'm teaching on what I know from 40 years of, being a Christian and reading the Word of God, reading the Bible, and helping people overcome and heal from trauma and, crisis and things, and so that's like 40 years of that. So what I aim to do is, just bring, mental health to the forefront so that we can have a better mentality, the way that we think about, our pain. Because we're always going to have, the pain is not going to go away. Like, we're always going to go through things. If it's not one thing, it's going to be another thing and another thing and another thing. But the main thing here is, how do we think about that when we're going through it, right? And some people are very just naturally optimistic. I don't know, that just comes from the way that their upbringing is. I believe that a lot of it has to do with what you eat too. I think that if you're not nourished, that if you don't have good nourishment, good adequate amounts of sleep, and things like that, and a nice, going out into nature and walking and just, not jogging and running, because when you jog, you're not really enjoying the actual nature, but a nice walk, with a nice, I like to have a coffee, and whether it be iced coffee or hot coffee, like it depends on what the weather's like. But I like to go for a walk, and I like to just walk and talk with a coffee in my hand or whatever, And I like to enjoy the moment. I like to enjoy the scene, the beaches. San Diego has the most beautiful beaches and boardwalks. And so, I like to enjoy the summer nights. It gets really hot here in some areas of San Diego during the summer. And I live in one of those really hot areas. We get up to 90, even up to 100 in my area. And that's Fahrenheit. For those of you in other countries, that's Fahrenheit. So I go down by the beach, which is only like 30 minutes from me, straight down one of the highways there, or motorways, depending on where you're from. Just straight down the motorway, and we hit the beach. And there's La Jolla is right there. It goes right to La Jolla, Pacific Beach, Mission Beach, and all of those. And those are like really trendy, really beautiful areas of San Diego. And so we are so blessed with where we live. And there's a lot of people that don't even enjoy it. They're just complaining. It's too expensive to live here. It's too this and it's too that. And, and everyone is so entitled. They're so like spoiled. Me and my kids get together and we're like, because, again, I'm American, my kids are American, but we lived overseas in a different country. And so we're like, we see from outside. We're like the new, we're kind of like the new outsiders looking in, and we're like, wow, were we like that? Were we so like spoiled like that? Were we entitled? Like, like we deserve, I mean, it's okay too that you feel like you deserve something, right? Especially if you've earned it or worked for it. But beyond that, like, sometimes we just get too full of ourselves, and we need to come out of that and be more caring towards another person. Like today, for instance, I was practicing this today because I have had the last 2 days really, really tough days. Okay, I've had other things that happen out of my control. I had a good friend, who I feel deeply, emotionally saddened. She died. She died of cancer. I don't deserve to get to say, what am I trying to say? There are other people that are mourning the loss of her. So why do I have to be? Why should I feel entitled to be, the only one mourning, and that people should feel sorry for me because I'm so sad because of that, right? So I came out of myself, and not only that, but then my car died. Okay, my one and only car is gone. It's gone. Like, there is no car. I had to Uber to go to the supermarket. So I'm going tomorrow to go and purchase another car. So I'm excited about getting a car. And that will be tomorrow, because I don't play, I don't walk, I do not like to Uber. I like to have me a car, and I don't want to rent a car and all that. So I'm just purchasing a car, and we're done, we're good, I'm gone. So all these things hit me all at once, and I could have gotten so stressed out. And and then, like, I had to go take the Uber down to the store, because I thought, let me just try this one more thing from the auto parts store and see if that will work on my car. Okay? But I get there, and I go into the store, and the lady behind the counter, I live in like this it's like small town-ish, and people are kind of way different from other parts of San Diego. They're very like slow, and sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? Like, pick up the pace. Um, so she was very slow, and I was kind of in a hurry. I was kind of stressed and in a hurry. But she was behind the counter, and she's like, then she starts talking to a lady, and then she starts, you know, then she comes back to me, and then she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. So I was like, I just, I like snapped out of it. I was like, I could be like so entitled right now, so rushed because I'm the person paying here, and I could be so horrible right now, right? And I said to myself, I'm not going to do this to this lady. I'm going to ask her how she's doing. So I began to ask her, so tell me, what's going on? Why do you feel so tired? And I was like, why did I just say that? Why did I just say that? I'm in a hurry. She's going to now talk to me and tell me. And sure enough, she did. So she went into this big old conversation about how she was, she was, her sleep's been interrupted and everything. And I thought, oh, this poor lady, it's terrible when you can't sleep. And you got to go to work and you're like, your body is feeling it. It is horrible, right? You ever like lost sleep and then you got to go to school or you got to go to work or something? So that's this lady. So she's going on about this, right? And I'm thinking, I I could be like so not listening right now. I'm thinking all this is going on in my head. And I said, I need to engage in the moment. I need to just stop and just engage in the moment. What I have to do is not going to go away by tomorrow anyway. It's okay. It's not going to, the car is still going to be broken. I'm not going to be fixed. I don't have to work. I took the days off so I can get go buy another car and do all the things I got to do. And so I said, it's all done. It's all settled. There's nothing I can do. I can't fix it. So it's okay. So I listened, and I did not tell her anything about what I was going through at all. You ever felt like that? Like you hear someone saying stuff, and you're like, if I told you right now what I'm going through, you would not believe it. Or you feel like my thing is way bigger than yours, while someone is talking. So we all do it, but we all have the ability to stop ourselves. And sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're just in the moment and we're like, I want to say my thing too. I want to say, and there's yeah, me too. But I didn't do the me too thing. I just said, oh, well, I hope that you get some rest. And she felt like she got all happy, and she stopped and she said, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And she felt loved for a minute, she felt cared about for a minute. So, it wasn't the time for her to feel cared about because she was working. But, that's okay though. Sometimes there are moments that you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I live in that community, and it's a small town. So, what goes around comes back around. So, I know because I lived in a small town in England, and, the word, how you act, what you do goes around fast. Everybody knows you. Even if you think they don't know you, they know you. So that's how small towns are. So I just was listening, caring, and I hope that if she ever stumbles across this video, I hope that she feels like she would, like she's okay. When I see her again, I'll ask her, did you get some rest after all? I've never visited India. Someone's asked me, have I ever visited India? No, but I always wanted to go and preach in India. I've always wanted to go and minister there, bring the Word of God there, talk about Jesus, and do a big crusade there in India. Or just talk to somebody at dinner in India. But no, I've never been. I've always wanted to go. Um, have you ever been to San Diego? Have you ever been to California? California's big, you know. It's huge. Yeah, it takes compassion. It doesn't really take strength, but it takes some compassion and some realization to say, you know, it's not my turn right now. We take turns at people, you know, caring about us, right? there's there's times where, you know, somebody 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 probably needs care more than me at that moment, right? Even though I was going through a lot, my car broke, you know, I had to walk up a giant hill because San Diego is filled with hills and they're like mountains and houses are on the hills. And so I work where my car broke down. I had to walk up this giant hill to get to work. Well, it goes up the hill and then it goes down the hill. So I had to go up the hill and then I had to go down the hill, and there are giant hills. And I was tired, and then I had to work a whole 8-hour work shift. And then after work, I had to walk back up the hill and down the hill to go get to my car. And then I got the tow truck and I got my car towed. So my insurance has roadside assistance towing and all that on it. Thank God. Thank God I did. I was gonna pay less for my insurance and take away all that nice fancy stuff that I have. I'm glad I did it because I was so happy that I had that. So I hope that your days are filled with joy, and you know, knowing that everybody goes through stuff. We all go through stuff, and it doesn't help to, you know, to walk around the world as somebody who's entitled. How does that help people, right? Compassion helps people. Sometimes our compassion can change the environment in work. It can change the environment I mean, I remember I was at work and my environment was toxic. It was not good. And I felt like I know we could do better. Like, I know we could do better. We're a team together and we could do better. But there was not a team. There was not a coming together. There was a pushing away, and a challenging, and a you know, I'm right, I'm the right, you know, kind of thing. And I thought, you know, how do I implement this without being being the obvious leader? I'm not the supervisor. I'm not the boss. I'm just the employee. How do I implement that, right? Because I've been leading stuff for zillions of years, but it is in the way that you carry yourself. It is in the way that you carry yourself. It is in just being, and sometimes in just being, you offend people because you're challenging their normalness, right? You're challenging their even maybe their wrongness. They're feeling it. They don't know what you're doing to them, but they're feeling it, right? And so that has to do just with the way that you carry yourself and little things that you might say in moments where it's almost like playing ping pong. I love to play ping pong, right? And so when you're playing ping pong, you have your paddle, and on the paddle there's a little thing that you can do that causes the ball to sway, and if you have to catch it just right and then twist it. You have to just move the paddle and it grabs the ball and it twists the ball, and it spins it. So then when the other person hits, if they're not spinning their paddle in the opposite direction, the ball just kind of spins and it flies out of the way. So they can't you know, serve you back. So they've missed the ball. So you can get them out, right? But it all is in the paying attention of when to implement that. And so, you know, when I'm dealing with all kinds of these different personalities and people, I've been leading and dealing with people for over 40 years. So, you know, a lot of this stuff just comes to me naturally now. And I don't sometimes realize even that I'm doing that. So some of it is intentional, some of it is just in me just being, because I just already am that. That's who I've become. And so sometimes I'm in situations where certain things happen, and all I have to say is one word, and it could be something like, well, now we know. And that's it. Now we know. And walk away. And that could tell the other person that, you know, we're all aware of now what's going on. It's all out in the open. It's not hidden anymore. You can't hide, you know, how you are acting. I can't hide how I'm acting, and nor can the other person hide how they're acting. So now we know. We're all out in the open, right? You're not good. You're not good. None of us are, you know, neither the better. So how do we come together and work on that, right? So how do we come together and work on that? So it is getting back to work right away. Hey, I got things I got to do. Are we done? I need to get out of here before people start, you know, going on and on and on about nothing, and it doesn't get anywhere, you know. And you always get that one person that talks going way too much. And they start, you know, down talking you, because then they want you to feel like they're like trying to shame you. So it might not be intentional, but it might be a kind of a cultural thing where they were raised like that, you know, and where it's kind of, people are like, oh, shame, you know, shame on you kind of thing. And it's kind of, it's not like, some people take it like very serious, and some people take it as it's playful. So if you don't know what you know, what timing that is, then it can mess you up. You can be really messed up. So you know, we all have to respect one another in the way that we, our tone and our body language and how we, you know, come together in the workplace. And so I'm always like, you know, encouraging the younger generation. I'm one of the older people on the team. Gosh, older? Really? So I'm always encouraging, you know, the teamwork and things, and, you know, implementing encouragement on, or communication on, you know, what is actually happening, so that people don't like have their own idea of what they perceive to be happening, but what is actually really happening, you know. And I'll come alongside and be like, no, this is what really happened. This is what's really happening. So it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So we're making good changes. Good changes to the future are happening in our workplace, which I am, you know, I'm 100% on board with. Okay, I'm not on board with toxicity. I will challenge that. I will get in trouble for that, and I will challenge that. But when someone, you know, they don't have to sit me down and talk to me about it, but when I see that it's obvious that there has been a talk of it, because you see the changes. You see the changes in the body language, in the atmosphere, you know, in the workplace, in the teams that are in the workplace, because there's different teams on workplaces. So you want that to happen, and you want to be pliable with changes, and you have to let offenses, because you can get really offended, and trust me, I have been offended, okay? So, and I'm talking about mental health issues in the workplace now, but you know, I have been really offended, and you have to let offenses just roll off. You can't be someone who holds on to holds a grudge, but you have to be able to be pliable. You know, you have you have to come to work and be like, and there are times, because I'm female, so like, you know, there are times when I'm more emotional than a man, right? So I get emotional or whatever because I'm a girl, and that's okay. But I have to say to myself, you know, I can't hold on to the grudge. I don't want to hold on to the grudge anyway, because that they don't those people don't go home with you. You know, you see them at work, and so you know you're just like, leave those people alone, leave them be, let them be. You know, you can't change them. So, but you know, you can bring a positive atmosphere to work. You can be, you know, just be different. You don't have to, uh, you know, do all of the, you know, sitting down and talking with people and like, you know, we're going to be different kind of thing. Just be different, okay? Be better. Be able to be better and be flexible. Be flexible, okay? Be pliable in all of that. So. I am goofy. Yes, I'm goofy. Who said that? T Money. Hi, T Money. And then T Rex says, "Are you anyone's bride?" No, I'm not. No, 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 no. No, I'm not. Um, I'm not married. I am single. It's always nice to know someone is looking out for you, especially during tough times. Yes, it is. Thank you, Village. Yes, it is. Very nice. And someone has to be the one that has the compassion to do that, right? Hi, German. Hi. Um, Someone has to put their own hard day aside, right? You have to say, okay, I know I'm having a hard day, but it's not my turn. Put it aside and be there for someone. It's you just I just use words like simple words like, okay, today is not my turn. It's just not my turn. And let someone else talk. You know, let someone else let it be their turn. Maybe they never get a turn. So sometimes people just they don't. There's no one that's listening to them. They don't get any turn to be cared about. Hi, Lou. Lou Hammer. Hi. So when is my turn is I don't know. My turn was I was with my buddy. I was with my buddy. We went to dinner, and she has been my buddy for like a zillion years. Um, and we went to dinner. We hadn't been to dinner in like years. We like to go to fancy dinners. So we hadn't been to dinner in like a long time. I think it's been a year. So we went to dinner, and uh, you know, she got to share some things, and then I think at dinner it was my turn because I was sharing a lot, and I was sharing with her some things that you know she did not know about me in all of the years that you know we were friends. You know, there were some things that I don't share with anyone, and so we got to sharing stuff at dinner. I will think about that. I will think about when I'm supposed to get a turn. All right. I am appreciative of all of you who are here. And again, like, I don't even ask you guys to subscribe. And every time I do a live video and I'm live streaming, I get like 20 people who subscribe. And I'm like, wow, that is so cool. I'm like, I don't even like have to say anything. I mean, I'm not the one that like, I'm not the one that likes to be right there going, and before we get started, can you like and subscribe? Like and subscribe right now. I feel like that's how they're saying it. Like, you better like this video. And you better follow, okay? Make sure you subscribe. um, don't subscribe. Don't subscribe. so, so yeah, I never ask for the subscribers, but I just like, I'm so like, I just get so happy. I'm like, yay, I'm this lady, some random lady. And I'm like, I look on the subscriptions after I'm done and I'm like, oh my gosh, they all like me. They subscribed. And so now I went from like having, just starting with nothing, and I went to like, I went to 500, and now it's like piling up all so fast to like, now nearing 600 subscribers. And so I'm gonna like, have a party if I get to 1,000. I'm gonna be like, yay. So I know I'm a dork. I'm goofy. Okay, I am goofy. So I love you guys, and I just pray that you all have a great time. Okay, I pray that you go into the weekend. It's probably your weekend. It may be your weekend already if you're wherever you're tuning in from, what part of the world, um, and that you just remember that somebody else, it may be their turn. It may be their turn to talk or be listened to or be cared for. Because some people, you'll hear it. They'll be kind of insistent in the way that they are talking about something. They'll just be like this lady. She was just like, I'm so tired. And I'm like, oh, I can't even. I'm so tired. I can't even be like rushed right now because I'm so like, I'm so sorry that you feel like that. I was telling her. Okay. So I'm hoping that you get your story. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I'm listening. I hope that you guys get the. Are you getting the scoop? Okay. Um, so we're talking about nothing. We're just talking. We're just. I just popped in. This is not. This is just a random live stream that I do every once in a while. Like, um, I usually work on Fridays, so I'm not at work today. I had the day off because remember my car broke down and I'm like stranded. So I said, let me jump on this live stream and say hi to everyone. It'll cheer me up when I see all the subscriptions on there, okay? When I get off and I look at the subscribers, I'll be like all happy again. All right. Well, I'm praying for you. I love you. And thank you. Somebody's saying that I have a good personality. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not everyone thinks I have a great personality. So I try to, but I'm not always that person. Sometimes I'm that person that is not in a good mood. Okay. Sometimes I am that girl. So my car broke down. It died. It just like seized up. The engine seized up basically. So it had been dumping oil like crazy. It's got over 200,000 miles on it. And the check engine light, I had taken it to Jiffy Lube, to get an oil change, and that didn't take away the check engine light oil, so the check engine light, so it just stayed on. In the car, the guy was saying, looks like your car is coming to an end pretty soon, you should get rid of it. And I was like, I'm gonna drive it to death, and I'm just being silly when I said that. Well, sure enough, here I am, I'm going to work, and like I was telling everyone, I was at the stop sign next to my work, and the car just seized up. It was not going to turn back on, and then I had to walk up this giant hill and then back down the hill and then work a whole shift. And that lady thought she was tired. I walked up that giant hill. I was tired. Okay. That was not fun. And then I had to, after work, get a tow truck and tow it back to my house, where it is in my parking lot, dead, gone, died, bye-bye, no more. I called the cash for car guy, and he says, well, how much do you think you're going to get for it? I'm like, okay, well, he asked me how much do I think I'm going to get for it, so I said 3,000. And he laughed at me. I'm like, why are you laughing? You asked me what I thought I was going to get for it. I asked you before you asked me, like, what will you give me for it? I said, what will you give me for it? And then you asked me, what do you think? So I'm telling you what I think, right? And then I get a laugh, and I'm like, he's like, you're lucky if you get 500. I'm like, forget you. I'll call you later, okay? And I hung up on him. I'm like, I'll go to some other cars for cash guy. You can laugh at me like that. That's not nice. What do you think that's nice? That you start off with, like, I'm asking him, like, well, how much do you usually give for the car? And he wouldn't tell me, and he said, well, how much do you think you're going to get for it? So I told him, I don't know anything about cars, like, or junker cars. I don't work for cars for cash. How do I know? And then I get laughed at? That's not cool, is it? So learn your sales technique a little bit. Goodness. Because that just makes me go to somebody else. There's a lot of cars for cash people out there, Yeah, it's a bummer. It's okay. It's an old car, so it was going. I had already put money aside. I was already saving money, and I put money aside to go and get a different car. So I'm going tomorrow. Took days off of work to go, because anyway. Now today was my turn. Thank you. I got to rant and rave, and you guys listened. I guess it was my turn. All right, you guys. I love you. Okay, well, I'll let you guys go for now. I'm tired now. All right. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. I love you. And bye-bye. Kisses. Kisses.